All right, what is up, Comics Lounge? So good to see everyone. It is absolutely amazing. I am so excited that you're back for another 3-issue comic review. A Thursday 3-issue comic review. This week, I'm going to be reviewing Thor Revelations. Thor Revelations was a really amazing storyline where we got to see Thor kind of continue to go through this Hammerfall issue that he's going through as he's navigating being both a warrior and a king. It's really amazing. Bandini has been doing a phenomenal job with all of the artwork inside these books, and the covers have been amazing. It's gotten so bad in these issues that there's some pretty big stuff happening here. But before I go any further, I want to issue a spoiler warning. If you have not read Revelations yet, there will be spoilers in this, so do not watch unless you are a fan of spoilers. But let's just start talking. The first cover kind of breaks down like everything going on with Mjolnir, however you pronounce it. You can see clearly on Thor's face that he is actually not trying to hit Cap. And that's not something that I realized until I read this issue. This issue by Donny Cates and this story arc by Donny Cates, and then the grand scheme of things, the run by Donny Cates, has been a lot of Thor understanding what it's like to be a warrior and a king. And there's a lot going on here after Prey and after Hammerfall. And especially after the revelation from Black Winter as well. But most importantly, we're seeing a lot of stuff happen with Thor. A lot of stuff internally that's going externally. Now, as we kind of navigate that with him, we get to see all the different things unfold. First being that, again, this is the hammer hitting Cap, and Thor trying to hold it back, but not being able to do so. We see a lot of different stuff. Again, the artistry is really beautiful in this book. That image alone is just very well done. I'm very excited by what's going on in Thor and what is going to continue to happen. This is the scene where Thor literally says, as it hits Cap, and even Cap is kind of shocked and says, "Thor, you hit me." And something is wrong. It acted upon its own accord, which is weird. I don't think I've ever seen in any comic I've ever read, and I haven't read a lot of Thor. I started getting into Thor a couple years ago, so again, haven't read much at all. But with everything going on in this, I don't think the hammer's ever had a mind of its own where it actually attacks someone without being called to do so. So that kind of begs the question, is it someone is tampering with the hammer, or is it genuinely that there's something seriously wrong with Thor, or seriously wrong with the hammer and the magic and all of that placed on Thor? We get to see Thor kind of navigating this with his father, and then also with his sisters and his mother. And he ends up finding his father just kind of chilling in the woods. And it was on the singing forest of Vanaheim. And he was looking for his mother, and his father just ends up being there. So that was issue 16. And 16 wasn't the best. It was definitely a weird issue. Again, the artwork was really good. The storyline was there, but it was different. Jane plays a role in it. Thor goes to see her, and I feel it's more there to kind of show the tension that's happening in Thor's story right now. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, that's not something that I would want to go back and read part of that story to really dive deep into Thor and Jane's relationship. That's not why I'm reading Thor. Yes, it's a really nice little undertone, but their relationship is kind of seems weird right now. It's a weird read. Not like, I don't know. I've gotten off track. But basically, case in point is that 16 was not the best. 15 was really good. 16 kind of fell a little bit flatter, but 17 is where a lot of stuff picked up and where we got a really shocking twist. One that I was not ready for. Not that it was like over the top crazy that it happened, but more just, what? That's not where I thought this was going. So definitely one of those stories. It's like, okay, where are you going to take it next, Donnie? Show me the path. I want to see it. I want to know where you're going. Simple as that. Like, when you get thrown a twist at an ending and you're like, oh, not what I would have done. But I like what you did there. So that kind of is the story, the arc wrapped up. But let's find out what that was and my thoughts on it. I think that this is a really great issue. We see at the end of 16, Odin and Thor take down this giant monster, and they find out that it's actually not okay to slice these monsters open. It actually attracts more. So they kind of go on like a killing spree of these random monsters. Happy family reunion. Not really. They're all covered in blood, all trying to make sure that they don't spread any more blood. And Odin says, if I ever told you that you are my favorite child, right after Thor's sister goes, I thought you Asgardians knew a fight when you saw one. So just a very interesting dynamic between brother, sister, father, daughter, father, son. And then the coolest part about this, really stupid, but funny kind of stupid, badass moment is when Freya comes flying in on what no one expected, a cat with Gatling guns and a bow and arrow. Like, the cat has more firepower than she does. Oh my, I like, even right now, this is how much I die laughing when I turned the page and saw this. And anyways, the cat ends up firing the Gatling guns and clean killing these monsters so that way it didn't shed too much of their blood. And then they kind of get into this talk about the god of the hunt. What's this goddess of the hunt nonsense? God of the hunt, thank you very much. And well, former title was goddess of fertility and marriage. And kind of takes a shot at Odin with that one. And Angela is kind of trying to walk Thor through what she thinks. Odin's trying to take it all in. And that's when we find out that Freya isn't actually the mastermind behind this. That Angela is the one who actually tracked Thor and Odin and kind of led them to here so that way they could all be in the same place at once. So that's when she lets Thor know, like, the angels of heaven have been watching. Like, we've been tracking you, trying to figure out what's going on, the whole story with Donald Blake. Like, all of this is starting to tie together for Thor. And we see that Angela is very wise beyond her years, I guess is the best way to put that. Simply because we get to kind of figure out where her story is going to fit into all of this. And how she's kind of been making sure that Thor doesn't get killed. And not in a literal sense, but basically that's what she's doing, is watching over Thor and making sure that everything is going okay. Not that it's going great in any sense of the word. And that's when we start to kind of see a breakdown in the family, more so than what was already going on. Which is when they bring up the Phoenix Force from Avengers 42. Again, this is a really cool storyline. There's a lot of talking, not a whole lot of battling. This is basically a storyteller type of book. Revelations is an end of times kind of story in the Bible, if you've never read the Bible. And this is kind of the same thing. They're like basically figuring out, okay, what is happening here and what is going to happen. And then that's when we get the shocking twist. After everything they're talking about, Thor gets a phone call on Vanaheim, which how that even happened, even he's kind of confused about. But it's Captain Steve Rogers calling him, which is weird. I mean, that's just weird. But after what happened in issue 1 of Revelations, or part 1 of Revelations, not really issue 1, we understand why Steve is calling, and all of a sudden we get shown an empty table where Mjolnir was. And Cap says, "It's been stolen." Like a duh. But overall, I would definitely have to say this is a pretty great storyline. I'm really excited to see where it goes. And I love that we get this storyline right after Donald Blake. I think it was a great little thing to kind of take away from all of the action of Donald Blake. Everything that happened with Donald Blake's character was crazy. It was absolutely over the top, insane. And fans saw that. Fans who are reading the book saw that this was just a crazy story. I was okay with it because it was one of those stories where you're like, this is really sweet. All the fight scenes are good. All the battles are good. Everything that we're doing is good. Everything that we're reading is good. Like, it's really great. I love the Donald Blake storyline. It was a really great storyline to kind of come back after Hammerfall and for another 5-issue series or 5-issue arc. And then now we have this 3-issue arc that kind of breaks that up again, just like Hammerfall did. And it kind of is this looping style of storytelling. And it's really amazing. I'm really enjoying the way that they're doing this with Thor. And I can't wait for this to continue. So, in all honesty, was it my favorite arc from this run? No. Donald Blake and Black Winter were definitely a lot better and a lot better told and written. But these stories are a lot harder to write, I feel. They're a lot more in-depth and a lot of stuff going on all at once. So that's kind of where I'm like, it's okay. It's good to have these kind of palate cleansing arcs too, from all the action that we just saw or that we're planning to see next. So definitely this would be a 6 out of 10 for me. It's definitely not one that I'm going to go back and read anytime soon, but it's definitely one that I'm glad I read to figure out where this story is going next. So 6 out of 10. It's a great story. It's really well done. It's really well drawn and whatnot, but it's not. It's a gap-filling story, so to speak. It's to tell more story and to kind of move the plot along and let you know where they're going without giving away too much. I wish they would have given us a little bit more. I wish there might have been a little bit more drama in it. But it was a good story to tell, and I enjoyed it, definitely. Thanks for watching. As always, subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you. #Loungers Assemble. Thanks for lounging with us.